Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm 28 years old. I'm originally from West Virginia, but I live in Raleigh, North Carolina now. I attend Providence, but when I first started in the church, it was when I was first born. So I grew up in a Christian family. I grew up going to a Christian elementary school. Wasn't allowed to wear pants to church, all the things. And also went to a Southern Baptist church where a lot of the preaching was very yelling. They were usually yelling at you, and you're sweating and stuff like that. And that kind of preaching is great, but I didn't feel like I was learning a whole lot. It felt like it was something my family wanted me to do. But I remember when I was about 5 years old, I don't remember a lot because I don't have a great memory of my childhood. When I was about 5, I remember we still had the pews, and I got down on my knees and faced the pew and gave my life to Jesus, and I got saved, meaning that I was ready to do whatever he wanted me to do, whatever his plan was for me. At the time, I don't think I knew the weight of that as a 5-year-old, but from that time on, I really tried to live the way God wanted me to. Then around the time I went to college when I was 18, I was going to college, and then my parents said they were getting a divorce. My parents never fought, so it was super weird for me to hear them say, we're getting a divorce. And even though they didn't mean to, I did get put in the middle of it a lot. And so I remember one day I was getting lunch in the cafeteria, and I asked the guy to make me a sandwich or whatever, and he went to hand it to me, and I'm just sobbing because my dad had called me, my mom had called me, I was just crying, and he literally didn't know what to do. He was like, and so that was a hard time for sure, going to college that way. And I remember when I would come back to visit, my parents wouldn't go to church anymore, but my grandparents did because my grandfather was a deacon. So I would go with them, but it was only once a month, if that, because I wasn't visiting all the time. So I was going with them, and then eventually it kind of became more of a chore than it became I'm going to church because I want to. It was I want to spend time with my grandparents. I want to spend time with my grandfather, so I'm going to take you to church. I would sit with them. We would go to lunch after, wouldn't think about it again, wouldn't open my Bible, that kind of thing. But I still believed. I never didn't believe. I just wasn't following what I should have been following. So then when my friend asked me to move to North Carolina with her, I did. And we found this really big church. And we were like, this church is way too big. We're not going to like it. We're not going to be able to find a good community. But we have to try it. We were too curious. So we went. And when we went, the first few times we were like, this isn't bad. And we started continuing to go, and we started making friends, and then we started getting involved in the church, and I started getting involved in the nursery. And I felt myself getting closer and closer to God again, and it kind of leading me to the things that I should be doing versus what I shouldn't have been doing. Because in college, I was drinking, I was going to clubs, I was doing the things I shouldn't have been doing. And I didn't realize how far I had gotten until I came to Providence and started getting back in my Bible, and I was like, oh, I was pretty far away, and it feels like, almost like when you're swimming in the ocean, and you don't realize how far out you've gotten until you turn around, and you're like, the land's kind of far away, and so you have to try and make your way back, and it kind of felt like that. And in that time, I also had family members that were addicted to drugs, family members that were in and out of rehab, that were overdosing. Neither one of my parents are in church. My grandparents ended up dying of old age, but and one of my best friends got cancer, and my job was rough. I worked with a rough demographic of kids, and so when there's chairs and tables being thrown, it's hard to continue to be patient. And so it was something where every day I was like, okay, God, give me the patience today. Give me the words today. Help me to say what these kids need, to be what these kids need. And eventually I started kind of praying of where am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be teaching? Do you want me at this school? What do you want? And it'd been 4 years, and I hadn't really felt Jesus necessarily, not fixing, but kind of showing me which way to go until one day I got a phone call that was offering me a job that covered the two things that I had really said I wanted in a job. And then they mentioned that their mascot is an otter, and an otter is actually my favorite animal. And I was like, oh, so it was like more than I had asked for in the first place. And it turned into me seeing like God will give you more than you can imagine instead of like just what you want. Like you don't know his plan for you, and you might think that you want this small thing and then he gives you this big thing instead. And it may not even be what you wanted in the first place, but it's what you needed. And I've just kind of realized that, and that's definitely grown me in a whole nother way as well. So I think throughout my life, I took advantage of being in the church because I grew up around it. Like, it's just what I was used to. And then I went to college and I fell away. And becoming an adult, coming to Providence has shown me that, like, I shouldn't be taking advantage of that. That is something that I need to be extremely grateful for and thankful for. And it has given me a support system that is so important to have when you're a Christian, to surround yourself by people that have the same belief as you.